Our top story tonight, a pre-Christmas border crisis has the mayor of El Paso, Texas, declaring a state of emergency as Border Patrol agents brace themselves for tens of thousands of additional migrants to flood the nation's southern border this week. The surge comes as Title 42 is set to expire on Wednesday. The Trump-era measure was introduced at the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic to help curb almost all migration due to public health concerns. At present, thousands of undocumented migrants cross the border into the United States every day. And joining us tonight is John Davidson, senior editor of the Federalist. John, great to have you on. A lot to get to, but first, I know that you've been to the border several times over the past year. Talk to us about what you have seen, where things stand now, and what you think a sudden surge would mean.
Capacities of Customs and Border Protection and the Border Patrol along the U.S.-Mexico border are not such that they can absorb 10,000, 12,000. In some cases, they're thinking maybe even 14,000 people a day being arrested along the border. That will simply overwhelm the capacities of the federal authorities at the border and create what we saw last September of 2021. If you recall, tens of thousands, I think as many at one point as 15,000 people were in an encampment under a bridge in Del Rio, Texas. Del Rio is a town of 35,000 people. So we're looking at a situation where you're going to have essentially refugee camps in South Texas, all up and down the border, if this policy goes away and Title 42 really is off the books.
Yeah, and John, as we mentioned, and as you know, Title 42 ends in just 2 days, and there has been a lot of talk about what the Biden administration will do as the clock is just ticking away. Let's take a listen to what White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre had to say about this matter just last week.
We are focused. And we are prepared. We will have more to share in the next coming days on this piece. But again, we have done the work from this administration by securing record funding, and we are asking Congress to act.
John, your reaction, do you think they've done the work?
Well, they've done the work of dismantling Trump-era policies that kept the border secure and kept illegal immigration down. So she's right, they've been doing work. It's just what they're working toward is an open border. They are trying to transform federal authorities at the border from stopping illegal immigration and deterring illegal immigration into facilitating it by increasing the rate at which they are able to process people and release them from federal custody into the interior of the United States. That's the work they're doing. So we have to understand what the White House means when they say they're doing the work. They are working, but they're working to give us an open border.
Yeah, and at this point, I mean, there really are mounting fears of basic service cuts in other parts of the country. In fact, in New York City, Mayor Eric Adams has said the city, they're not going to be able to deal with another surge of migrants. And if that happens, he said that they'll have to put the needs of new arrivals over New Yorkers. I want to get your thoughts on that, John. And also, do you think this could happen elsewhere?
Sure. This is one of the things I think this is sort of people need to realize. And finally, some of these blue governed districts like New York are seeing what South Texas and a lot of these border states have been seeing for many years now. The massive influx of illegal immigrants overwhelms social services. And it's been happening in Texas for a long time. And so it's nice to see that New York finally gets it now. You can't have mass uncontrolled illegal immigration and think that your social services and your welfare systems are going to just be able to take that and operate smoothly. I think it should be a wake-up call for the rest of the country that you can only ignore the border so long. The border crisis is not something that's just confined to South Texas, because along with illegal immigration, you have record amounts of fentanyl and other illegal deadly drugs flooding across the border through these cartels that profit off illegal immigration and use illegal immigration as a smokescreen to bring drugs into the country. And that goes everywhere. That goes into every corner of the United States.
John, before I let you go, we have maybe a minute or so left, but I want to talk about those that work on the border agents, and what they're going through, these terrible conditions there. And the suicide rates are the highest they've been in over a decade. How do we go forward from this?
The border agents are totally demoralized. The men and women I've talked to there over the years, they see themselves rightly in the role of law enforcement, that they are the ones who stand on the line and protect the country from hostile elements People have to understand the border is controlled on the south side of the Rio Grande by Mexican drug cartels. These are deadly, dangerous gangs that have a lot of power and unlimited resources. Those Border Patrol agents have not been able to do their job for years. Instead, they're facilitating illegal immigration, and the morale in the ranks has bottomed out. They don't have any support from the White House. They don't have any support in the media. They've been demonized, for years now, and so it's understandable that not only are they demoralized, but there's having recruitment problems. Why would you want to go be a Border Patrol agent when you know that your employer, the federal government, doesn't have your back and is not even committed to the mission?
Well, John, we're going to leave it right there. Thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate your insights, and we'll see what happens in 2 days.
Thanks.